We're going to make the classic sauce hollandaise. For the basic recipe you need 3 egg yolks, you need about 200 grams of melted clarified butter. Now clarified just means that the butter's been melted and it's been skimmed of the froth that comes to the top, and it's been separated the fats from the milky solids, and all you're going to use is the fats. And I've made a vinegar reduction. Now the vinegar reduction is just vinegar which has been boiled down with some shallot and some peppercorns, and that's been reduced by half to increase the acidity, and that's been strained. We've got a pan of barely simmering water, and we're just going to sit a bowl over the pan, and we take our 3 egg yolks and some of the vinegar reduction. Now if you weren't going to use a vinegar reduction, you would need to add a splash of water to the egg yolks to stop them cooking straight away. So we want about a couple of tablespoons. And what we're doing here is we're cooking the egg yolks without actually scrambling them. What we want to do is want to take this to a stage which is called ribbon stage. And ribbon stage is when the egg yolks are cooked, but they're not scrambled. So, whisking constantly, the whisk is leaving a trail. To stop this from splitting, which is what happens normally, because what happens when it goes wrong, you want to add the butter very gradually to start with. So just a little bit of butter, and incorporate that into our egg yolks, making sure each addition is completely incorporated before adding the next. Just going to add a splash of liquid to this because it's starting to come a bit too thick. The texture's looking beautiful and spoonable. Now we can start adding a lot more butter at once. Depending on how thick or how thin you want the sauce, add more butter and more liquid. So if you were serving this as a spoonful on top of a piece of fish, you'd want it quite thick. Whether if you were spooning it over a poached egg, you'd want it slightly runnier, so you just add a bit more liquid to it. And then the rest of our butter, in we go. And that is our hollandaise. I'm finishing it with a squeeze of lemon juice, which will also thin it down a bit. So there is our classic hollandaise sauce. There is another method which I'm about to show you, which is a cheats method. What you don't get with this method is you don't get the same amount of volume because there's not all the whisking involved, but it is very easy to make, and kind of takes all the arm work out of it. So same ingredients. I'm going to be using a hand blender and a jug. What you need to make sure is you use the jug that comes with the hand blender. The jug needs to be tall. So same ingredients, 3 egg yolks. It's important that the egg yolks go in first. A splash of our reduction, then our butter. Now for this method it's important that the butter and that the egg yolks are of the same temperature. Both of these are just lukewarm. Butter just goes in with the egg yolks. You need to hold your hand blender on the bottom of the jug for about 20 seconds and then gradually draw it up. So then draw the hand blender up and down, and then next to no time you have delicious hollandaise. To turn this into a béarnaise sauce, which is a classic sauce which is served with steak, so I'm just going to put some tarragon through this. Béarnaise is wonderful with steak. If you're serving this with lamb, you could chop some mint, put some mint through it. Rather than finishing it with lemon juice, you could finish it with juice of a blood orange. Basil would be delicious in this as well. So we're just going to stir our tarragon through the sauce. Serve that next to our hollandaise, and then a cheats béarnaise made with a hand blender.